Today I'm going to prime my eyelids with my Eye Bright Primer from Pixi. And I've already done the top of my lids, and I'm also going to place some underneath the lower lash line, just because I also put shadow under there. So I want it to not crease and to be very vibrant. And then I'm just going to blend it out with my ring finger. And you can see that it has a little bit of color in it. So it does hide all of the dark areas. And today I'm going to use my BH Cosmetics It'sJudyTime palette. And here are all the colors inside. And I'm going to start off with this reddish brown color. It's a matte. And I'm just going to place it in the crease with a fluffy blending brush. This one is by Sonia Kashuk. And I'm just going to work in circular motions and sweeping motions to really blend it out and make it look really soft. And then I'm going to take this matte purpley blue color, and I'm going to mainly place it all over the lid, but concentrating the color on the outer corner. So you want to get most of the color on the outside. And then just softly blend it in with the crease color. And I've noticed with this eyeshadow you do have to pile on the color if you want it to be more vibrant. It's pretty sheer. So just be patient with it and use a shader brush. And I'm going to take this coppery bronze color, and just with my finger I'm going to place that on the center of the lid. And you just want to keep adding color until you like the intensity. And just mainly focus the color on the center of the lid and just slightly into the crease. And then you can go back with the matte shade and intensify the color on the inner tear duct area. And now I'm just going to take the matte cream color from the eyeshadow palette and place that as a highlight underneath the brow. And you can also use this to sharpen up the edge on the outer half of your eyeshadow. And it also helps to blend out the transition color in the crease. And you can see there I just kind of cleaned up the outer edge. And then I'm going to take my super slim eyeliner from L'Oreal, and I'm just going to create a pretty dramatic winged eyeliner. And you just really want to make sure that the eyeliner is really, really black. And then I'm going to take the matte purpley blue eyeshadow, and I'm just going to really work it on the lower lash line. And again, you kind of have to be patient with this eyeshadow because it's not as pigmented as some of the others. So if you want it to be a lot more vibrant, then you just keep adding some color until you reach the intensity that you like. And then you just want to connect it with the outside corner of your eyeshadow. And really work your brush back and forth to smoke it out. And now I'm going to take the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in Ransom, and I'm going to place that in the waterline on the lower lash line, just to kind of pull the look together and give me a little bit of definition. And here are the eyes finished with my brows already done. I do have a separate video on brows if you're interested. And the eyelashes that I used today are from Eylure, and they're the Katy Perry Cool Kitty eyelashes. So they are pretty dramatic. And now we can move on to the rest of the face. I'm just using my Kat Von D Lock It Tattoo foundation in the color Light 48 with a Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. And I'm just going to blend that all over my face and down my neck. And I'm just going to leave the lower under eye area blank for some highlight. And I'm using my Flower BB Cream and BB1. It's the very lightest shade. And I'm going to place this underneath the eye area. And this is just going to brighten up the area as well as clean any imperfections on the lower lash line. And of course, I always like to put a little bit down my nose and a little bit on the forehead. And this is for highlighting effect. I just really like the glow in the center of my face. And it also makes my nose look a little bit straighter. And then I'm just going to set the highlight with my brightening powder by Sonia Kashuk. I don't always set the highlight, but sometimes I do like it to be a little bit brighter than what it is. And that's why I like to use my Sonia Kashuk brightening powder. And then I'm just going to set the rest of the face with my transparent powder by Sonia Kashuk with a large fluffy powder brush. And then for bronzer, I'm going to use my Sonia Kashuk bronzer with a multi-fiber brush from Sonia Kashuk. And I'm just going to place that in the usual areas underneath my cheekbones, along the hairline, on the side of my forehead. And I really like to use this brush with this particular bronzer because it adds just a really light veil of bronzer. If you go too heavy, it can get really muddy. So this brush really gets the job done really well. And then you can also put a little bit underneath your neck area to blend everything out. And then I'm taking my L'Oreal blush in Rose Gold, and I'm just going to place that on the cheeks, the tops of my cheeks. And it has a really nice sheen to it. It goes on very sheer, so you need to build up the color. You can even use this as a highlight if you wanted to. And then I'm going to take my Kardashian Beauty highlight, and I'm just going to place that where I usually do, which is on the tops of the cheeks and down the bridge of my nose and on the Cupid's bow. It just gives my skin a really nice dewy look. And then for lipstick, I'm using Blankety by MAC, which is a really nice nude. And then I always like to press it out with my finger just to blend it and soften it up a little bit. And this is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this makeup tutorial. And if you ever recreate any of the looks, please hashtag Jessin21 on Instagram so I can find your pics and like them. And as always, thank you for stopping by, and I will see you in my next video.